What's going on, guys? It's your boy Sleazy here, and for the longest time, I usually try and avoid covering Star Wars stuff because it's all so boring and contrived, and it's not Star Wars. It's a husk of Star Wars that's been propped up like a weekend at Bernie's. It's dead, but they're trying to push it as being alive and do all this crazy woke nonsense, inserting the most crazy ideals into this franchise that used to do nothing but print money. And now it can't even pass 15% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. The Rotten Tomatoes that we know will make up fake reviews to prop up shows can't even break 15% now. It is the lowest rated Star Wars in the history of Star Wars, and that includes George Lucas's abomination of the Star Wars special that he himself won't even admit exists. This is worse than that. Not only do we have the space lesbians creating life using the Force, scissoring each other until things get created. We have people that have worked on the Star Wars franchise, ashamed to have worked on Star Wars. And I love to see it. I love seeing people that used to love Star Wars, used to work on these TV shows, now be absolutely disgusted at what the franchise has become. And all because Disney bought it, hired the activist to write and produce their movies. It's all gone down the drain now. Nothing can save Star Wars Disney. Not a damn thing. And I couldn't be any happier. So I'm going to pull up a couple of different articles because I just said a lot of things that I want to back up here. Forbes writer Paul Tassi is not happy that audience and viewers are rejecting the Acolyte, claiming that the low audience score is embarrassing for the audience scorers. What? You're saying that the bad reviews are embarrassing for us? No, it's embarrassing for Disney. It's embarrassing for the shills that I see producing YouTube videos saying, Acolyte is the best thing that's ever existed because it has strong women scissoring. On IMDb, the show's rating sits at 3.6. It has an unweighted mean of 3.1, and the majority of all votes, 55.2%, are 1 out of 10. There's the chart. 27,000 one-star reviews out of a possible 10. But we know those 3.8 are the A, the shills, and B, the bots. Nobody's rating it a 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 that is actually a functional human being. Tassi claims viewers are bombing the show, writing, viewers have now mobilized a fleet of TIE bombers to obliterate user scores of the Acolyte possible wherever, namely on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. No. Disney did that. Disney put out this garbage that absolutely nobody likes. But here we go. Former Lucasfilm animation employee says he's embarrassed and ashamed to have worked at Lucasfilm and on Star Wars after The Acolyte. A former Lucasfilm employee recently shared that he's embarrassed to have worked on Star Wars. The employee who runs a channel called Knee Pain detailed he was at Lucasfilm when the company was sold by George Lucas to the Disney company. Yeah, how do you feel about that? Let's see. I was there when that happened. I watched 90% of my coworkers get laid off. I was the lucky enough to survive the layoffs. I use the word lucky loosely, but I was there during the transition. I'll admit early on, there was some hope. Abandon all hope. There was some hope because they sat down, Kathleen Kennedy in a presentation of the company and showed us something we had never seen before under George. A 10-year plan on how they're going to murder Star Wars, how they're going to inject politics that the people who were there before that were lucky enough, air quotes, lucky enough to stay, we're gonna be proud of. You're gonna get diversity and equity and inclusion. I actually felt really good about that. They said they're going to be 3 more movies. We're all really excited. He then shared, I left some years after that. I've been gone for about 7 years now, and I talked about this in another video when the 3rd set of trilogies came out, The Force Awakens, and the whole thing with Rey. I tried to block a lot of it out. Actually, I don't remember the names of all those episodes that came out under Kathleen Kennedy. People that worked on this show are going through PTSD symptoms, trying to block out that they even worked on this thing. Holy shit. But I remember going to the crew screenings and coming out not feeling and then having the audacity and nerve to at work to say, yeah, I didn't really like it. And then starting to find out who the real fanboys are. And I'll tell you what, some of the biggest fanboys you'll find in the most toxic work there, because you weren't allowed to not like it. If you had an opinion, best keep it to yourself. People would make you very, very uncomfortable. Yes, yes, that's what they do. That's what the woke mob does. You have to bend the knee, or they will shame you, or they will cancel you. I really was not happy about the culture, the life there. It had changed a lot. You had no shit. Well, that's just like them getting rid of Walt and Walt Disney. You'd think they kind of want to say that with how anti-Semitic he was, how racist he was. But I mean, maybe they don't know their history. I remember a personal experience being in the studio and being like, I don't know if I really like the character Ray. And just my coworkers just losing their ever living shit at me, really getting pissed off at me because I didn't like it. Yes, you have to simp. You have to simp for the mentally handicapped, strong woman who can do no wrong, who doesn't make sense and shouldn't exist. You have to be a simp for that. Just like, all the Grace Randolph simps. That guy came around because, Grace Randolph is coping. Hold on. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt here. I'm not gonna say she's coping. I'm gonna say she was handed a script with talking points and told you have to read this for your video. You have to do this, or we're gonna quit paying you. At which point, Grace Randolph took to her Beyond the Trailer YouTube channel with 939,000 subscribers to make an Acolyte video and talk about how good it is. God, I cannot stand her fucking face. At which point, it only gets 67,000 views and it gets ratioed 1.9 thousand likes to 8,500 dislikes. We just add one more on there. Just add one more. And the comments point out the absolute hypocrisy of this entire thing. Grace tries incredibly hard to defend this show. More sophisticated, huge plot holes, a candle wiped out the uber powerful witches. Come on, man. I love it. I love it. This isn't Star Wars. This is Disney fan fiction. Star Wars ended with Lucas in episode 3. Apparently, you saw a different show episode than we did. Calling it content is part of the problem. Dumpster fire in the comments. It's time for some self-reflection, Grace. Sorry, but this is not Star Wars, and there is simply no defending this. And it just goes on and on and on and on. Nobody actually likes this. Even the Grace Randolph simps are like, yeah, sorry, boo, you've gone too far. We can't do it on this one. But like I said, Rotten Tomatoes. Somehow the average tomato score is at 84%, but the average audience score is at 15%. 15%. Which if we jump up to the Star Wars Holiday Special, with the terrible costumes, the terrible acting, the thing that nobody liked, including Lucas himself. Like I said before, that hates it so much he won't even admit it exists. It gets scrubbed from everywhere that it possibly can. It comes in at a higher rating than the Acolyte with 21%. The Acolyte is an absolute disaster. It's an abomination. And I love seeing it fail this hard. I cannot laugh hard enough. It's amazing. I love to see it. But it's nice to see that they have made a series that's so bad that even the normies are hopping on the train and being like, yep, Star Wars is dead. They can't even justify it at this point. Nobody can justify this show's existence. Nobody can justify Star Wars anymore. Disney's going to make more. Disney is absolutely going to make more. They're going to absolutely run this entire thing into the ground as hard as they can to inject their woke feminist garbage communist ideas. But guys, I want to hear the jokes. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this one out, guys. But until the next one, be easy like Sleazy.